Well, so Mama V, you're here. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Chalade.
Nice. Well, we're here to do the newspapers, take you through the news as it's been reported by the newspapers today. All right. I have the Daily Graphic, the Ghanaian Times. Well, we've got the Gold Street Business, the Daily Statesman, the Ghanaian Observer, the Finder, the Dispatch. We're going to go through all of them. So let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the graphic. Car Power utilizes natural gas to reduce costs. Graphic tops GJA awards lists. Auditor General sues Iyoko over investigations. But here's the big one. Alleged financial crimes. Ni Kote Jani on 5 million Ghana cedis bail. It says the Chief Executive Officer of the defunct Ideal Finance Company Limited, Ni Kote Jani, has been granted a 5 million Ghana cedis bail with two sureties, one to be justified by Iyoko in a case involving financial crimes. So Ni Kote Jani is being investigated for allegedly misappropriating 700 million Ghana cedis of depositors' funds in the country. The Executive Director of Iyoko, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Frank Edupoko, retired, said in an interview with the Daily Graphic in Accra that the businessman was detained at the ministry's police station after hours of interrogation at the Iyoko headquarters. The Iyoko boss said the businessman's initial bail documents were rejected because they could not be authenticated. However, Nijani, a member of the Council of State, has denied that he was arrested and granted bail. Nijani is suspected to have diverted depositors' funds lodged with the defunct Ideal Finance into his personal accounts, and the story continues on page 3. And those of related parties. He's unable, and here's a quote in that conversation with Iyoko, he's unable to render accounts for his stewardship of the company or explain how depositors' funds in excess of 700 million Ghana cedis were utilized under his management, unquote. Quote again says, we're working closely with the receiver, PricewaterhouseCoopers, for us to recover the funds from his assets, unquote. There's more to the story in page 3 of the Daily Graphic newspaper, but it's interesting the bit about the denial of arrest. A statement signed by the Director of Corporate Communications and Strategy of Ideal Finance, Eko Blankson, said Ni Jani was only invited by Iyoko for questioning over the revocation of the license of Ideal Finance. So you can continue to read on in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's see what's on the back page of the paper. Vice President cuts sword for Cape Coast inner city roads. Anglo Gold Ashanti female employees support Noguchi. Let's do Ghanaian Times now. Front page of the Times. VIP cuts sword for work to begin on 30-kilometer Cape Coast Road projects. GJ at 70, ex-President Kufuor, 113 individuals, organizations to be honored on Saturday. Court remands 5 secessionists in prison custody. 170 suspected criminals rounded up is also another story in the paper today. More than 170 suspected criminals, including illegal miners and foreigners, have been arrested by security personnel in a joint operation along the borders of 5 regions in the Northern Enclave. Details of that story in the paper today. Also on the front page, AU urges South's party to complete outstanding matters. That is related to the African Union calling on South Sudan's party to agree on a systematic approach to address remaining outstanding matters within the agreed 100 days extension period. On the back page, Meteors face South Africa in do-or-die affair today. We'll bring you sports right after the headlines when we look at the possibility of the Black Meteors doing this. Let me do the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder, 650,000 tons of rice harvested. Importers agreed to buy local rice. Consumption to hit 1.17 million metric tons. And here's Senor Hosi saying it as it is. Let's see who comes after him this time around. He says graduate joblessness to worsen in future. Remember, Senor Hosi, he's the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution Companies. He started a national conversation with comments he made at the University of Ghana. Yeah. what he says really is the truth, you know. Cocoa Board receives 800 bids in open competitive tender for cocoa roads. Fish farmers suffering high mortality rates is also another story in today's Find a newspaper. Maybe the last one, then Roland comes in. Maybe the last two, the Daily Dispatch newspaper, front page of the Dispatch. Keeping Ghana safe. Over 170 terrorists arrested at Ghana-Togo border. Haruna Atta on referendum. How Nico Tejani was arrested for an alleged stealing offense. The inside story. Government to monitor how churches use their funds. That story is on page 2. It's a curious one. I wonder how they intend doing this and who said they could do it. The weekend today, GN Savings and Loans versus Bank of Ghana case adjourned to December 18, a day after the referendum. That's if it comes off, because there are calls for it to be suspended. That's it for me, Roland. Roland will do the rest of the papers, Roland.
Yeah, let me go straight away. Head to the front page of the Daily Guide. It has on the front page, all set for Suampo for trial. So start of many drama we're likely to see in the court. Political opponents always happens under the Fourth Republic. So let's have the main story on the front page. The banner headline: manhunt for Papavi as new group emerges. We're told that the wife is called Mamavi, not her. I'm told. I haven't cited it in the picture alongside him, so. It's called AK Papavi Charles Kujoji. Okay, Yoko also detains Council of Statesmen over 700 million Ghana cedis. Has an attached picture of Nikote Jani. We also have NDC boycott vigilante dialogue. 170 suspected terrorists arrested. Let's go to the center spread. It's a Friday. Usually we'll get some nice center spread. Says, make us proud at Miss World 2019 in our party urges Miss Ghana. Has a picture. Sorry that we don't have that. We don't have that. Usually we'll have it. We don't have it. So also there we have.
Is that pageant so relevant today?
Miss Ghana. I have pageants as well. So
we're talking Miss World. Yeah, how did we even miss it? That's where we are.
We also have Burna Boy concert cancelled in South Africa.
So he's not headlining that concert on the 24th.
He had insisted on his social media handles that he was, despite whatever was being raised in South Africa was brewing there.
Well,
he was
rapper
going to.
AKA who had started asking him to apologize.
Yeah.
And then Julius Malema had tweeted and said he was welcome into South Africa, but deleted the tweet after that. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, so he's not going to South Africa?
No, it's been cancelled.
He's been nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, definitely.
That's way better than headlining the concert.
Emilia Clarke, nude Game of Thrones scenes were heard, according to Emilia Clarke. For all you lovers of Game of Thrones, I know one here, rightly here, Dennis Thompson, always watching, glued, doesn't sleep. That's how it goes. Got to season 8 before they wrapped up. We're hoping that they don't come with the 9.
People got addicted to it.
Yeah, addiction, more fixation. All right, government working to boost air transport. Already you know that we have signed some agreement to purchase Boeings, 6 of them, 3 bigger liners and smaller ones, we're told. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. Back page, arm wrestling vice president elevated, has an attached picture of Kofi Ado-Ejekum. Mourinho promises Spurs passion. Yo, we there. Kotoko can't retire me, according to Jordan Poku. And lottery winner buys club. Well, let's take a look at the story. He has already invested approximately £2.5 million of his 161 million prize money in the Glasgow club. Well, yeah, you should keep enough of the money, not spend all in 10 years' time. We keep hearing stories of those who won. Okay, let's go to the Ghanaian Observer. Has on the front page, Ghanaian Observer, government rolls out more Sino Hydro Road project. We're told that the latest was the Cape Coast Inner City Road, 30 kilometer. That had been started under the John Mahama administration. Somehow got curtailed, but now we're happy that it's resuming. The capital of the Central Region, Cape Coast. NDC snubs vigilantism dialogue. And then we have Jospon woes foreign investment for private sector. Has an attached picture of Dr. Joseph Sia Japan. New national youth policy in the offing. Sylvester says, no, Sylvester's Tete's picture is there. And then we have on the back page of the Ghanaian Observer, 2019-2020 season for major leagues start on December 21. And Dede Ayew wants Swansea to hit the ground running as they're resuming this weekend in the championship. Ibrahimovic, though, is in talks over AC Milan return. You should know by now he's 38, but still playing good football. Was just in the US, having finished off a great stint there. You know, had some of the best times in the United States League, Football League, or Soccer League, as they call it there. The Daily Statesman has on the front page, Akufo-Addo on course. Survey shows government is now tackling major concerns of Ghanaians. Up there, we have Togbi Apoda, can't take unilateral decisions for all chiefs, says Awulai Ajefi. Down there, 30-kilometer Sino Hydro Cape Coast Inner City Roads project takes off. Dr. Baumia is seen there in a caption picture, cutting sword for construction works to start on the Cape Coast Inner City Roads. Resident of Cape Coast, those come from there, usually like visiting there, we'll be happy with this. On the back page of the Daily Statesman newspaper, Jose Mourinho, ex-Man United boss, says he won't repeat past mistake at Tottenham. Jan scores 4 as North East United beats Goka in practice game. This is a good game, yeah? He's playing India. He's hearing some nice Bollywood tunes as well. I love the Bollywood films, so they help. Like Shukaram.
So how competitive is the Indian?
Yeah, he's scoring 4.
The Indian league?
He's scoring 4 already, so you should know how competitive it is.
But listen, Asamoah Gyan does things that I think he dares to do things that a lot of people.
Yeah. I love the spirit.
And he puts the spotlight. We're talking about India today because of him.
Yeah.
That's how you sell a country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love what he's doing. Asamoah Gyan, great guy, great guy. The new publishers on the front page, 170 terrorists, it's in quotes, so you should know, arrested in Volta region.
Oh, there's no quotes in the one that appeared in the Daily Dispatch.
Yeah, but this one has a quote. Yeah. West Blue Partners ICC to launch Incoterms 2020, and Alote Jacobs invokes cases over fruit juice. You know, all the related discussions on the Eku juice coming from Ekumfi. You know, the one district, one factory. Branded factory there.
I hope we don't end up politicizing the products.
Like the way we did with the sugar project, the sugar factory project at...
Because at the end of the day, when it hits the market, it's not going to identify people by political colors. You are not asking a particular political party to buy the products.
Exactly.
I hope we take it out of the partisan politics, whatever. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. I hope we don't. NDC missing at vigilantism talks and make me national shrine president. Kweku Bonsam. Kweku Bonsam. The Minister of Chieftaincy Affairs triggered all this by saying that he had visits from some Wulomoy of Accra or the Ghana state who had advocated that, well, once we're having mosques for Muslims and Christians, you know, we have the National Cathedral as well, and the one just along the Kaukudi Road, we're told that is the National Mosque, then we should also have a national shrine. I do agree, you know.
You know, when you start doing things that clearly is not your business, that's what happens. That's what happens. I agree. You get a lot more requests.
Yeah, I agree.
And you'll be forced to say something positive to those who are requesting for it.
Because that's where it's a matter of votes.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, the Chieftaincy Minister met the press, and the headline that I read in the Daily Dispatch about government setting up a commission to monitor how churches use their funds is also one of the things that he said at that Meet the Press series. So maybe if we had time, I'll read a little of the details in terms of what he said. It's a bit funny, isn't it?
Things that we like indulging in for votes. Okay, so let's go in. We have the front page of the Go Street Business. Thomas Amri here edits that. It has on the front page, mining in Ghana set for major shift. And it says Ghana's mining sector is set to undergo a major change in its regulatory framework as the Minerals Commission has initiated and also proposed some key changes to the current Minerals and Mining Act. The Commission has proposed amendment to the current, which has been in operation for some 13 years. Budgetary cutbacks affecting project execution, and tax revenues keep falling short of target, and donor support keeps dwindling. It's also because we're biting more than we can chew. Too many of the projects and the welfare packages we're promising the ordinary Ghanaian. That's why. Producer inflation declines marginally in October. That's a good one. They also have the interbanks forex rates. So you should know now the US dollar is being bought at 5.37 and being sold at 5.38 Ghana cedis. The British pound is almost hitting 7. 6.94.
Wow.
Being sold at 6.95 Ghana cedis.
Significant.
Yeah, very. I didn't know that. It's a good one. If Antoinette, good morning to you. I've remembered you. You live.
Roland, if you're done, we will do myjoyonline.com. There's some interesting stories on our site, but just a bit of this story in the Dispatch.
I was thinking if I mention Antoinette's I may get £100 this morning.
Roland, this is from the Dispatch, and this is linked to the Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Kofi Jamasi, who has assured that, first of all, they will not tax churches. Government does not intend taxing churches. However, they're considering setting up a charity commission to monitor how churches use their funds for charity works. That's among many other things he said at a recent Meet the Press series. I guess this will also get people talking, setting up a commission to check how churches use their funds for charity works. Let's do myjoyonline.com. It's more like good luck. All right, Amachidede sues Trigmatic for defamation, demands $1 million Ghana cedis. Hey. Well, so Trig is alleged to have said something to the effect that Amachidede does not write his own songs from the story that I read, and Amachidede is quite upset about it. I'm not sure if he's gone to court yet or he intends going to court, but you know, you can certainly read the story on myjoyonline.com. And I was also thinking, did Trick actually say something related to that? So I guess that's something to explore. Rice importers withdraw ads from media house over local rice campaign. National buffer stock to put 60K is what, 60,000? Bags of rice in Fumbese on the market. There are some photos here under 15 national teams scouting drama as overage player says he's 14.
Look at his face.
Can we click on the story, Fred? I think we have a bit of time. Can we open the story up whilst we do the rest of the headlines? We'll come back to this. I'm hoping there will be a full picture. Ochehene calls for one region, one ministry. Not sure what that is. I mean, the paramount chief of Achimabwakwa traditional area has called for a revolutionary decentralization move. Okay, so all right, so let's go back to this story. That's under 15 scouting. Okay, let's go down, please. In the last 9 days, the Ghana Football Association has embarked on a talent hunt for players to form a national under 15 team. The final selection to be assembled is to participate in next month's West African Football Union under 15 tournament in Burkina Faso. However, the scouting program wasn't without drama. One of the highlights was in Ho in the Volta region, where the age of one of the footballers had to be ascertained using a weird method. The footballer turned up for the scouting claiming to be 14 years. But his looks drew suspicion. He looked huge in stature compared to a normal 14-year-old. Leader of the scouting team and member of the GFA Executive Council, Samuel Enim Ado, inspected his skull and teeth to validate his age. Like, how is that? So I guess that's the thing that's going on. No, but you can't do that. You can't just look at somebody and think that he is so 14. The boy was not allowed.
No, you could.
The boy was not allowed to take part in the process.
I think you could.
It was proved that he was overage. No, but how do you determine that?
Yeah, because, you know, when you're old, your teeth would have formed to some extent. You know, when you're 14.
Wait, so like, well, unless Samuel Enim has some special skills.
For example, your molars, you know, we have premolars and molars.
So if this boy is really 14, he should go to court.
He's not. That's why so far we haven't heard of any court date.
This is not fair.
But if you see somebody who grow, you know.
So open your mouth, like, let me check.
Yeah, because you get
to see. Let me check if you're really 40 or you're more than 40, Roland.
Your set of teeth supposed to be intact.
All right, let's do the rest of the story real quick.
When you're young, and this is a phenomenon we see all the time where we have players who are old. So
let's finish off my jawline, please.
It's an African thing.
All right. Let's move on. We've done this. There's never been a better time to visit Accra. I guess it's a feature that you can read.
It's a rainy season. I don't know whether
parts of Accra submerged after hours of rain. Over 3 hours of heavy rains on Thursday has left parts of Accra
Just when we thought it's a better time to visit Accra.
Social media remembers Emmanuel Ejako. Oh my God, it's exactly 1 year
rest in peace.
Then MP for Ayawaso West Wagon, Emmanuel Ejako, died. Oh. This is an interesting one. Kylie, open it up. Catholic bishops pray for Auditor General for his good work. So this, apparently the Auditor General's brother is a reverend.
It's a Catholic father.
He's a Reverend Brother Stephen Domalovo, who is a Catholic priest. He shared photos on his Facebook page with a caption, praying for Mr. Daniel Domalovo, the Auditor General. And he also wrote, I am praying for my brother for his good works. But if you look at those praying for Mr. Domalovo, you would find a really familiar face, who is the Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, Reverend Charles Gabriel Palmer Backel. This is interesting also because we know the Auditor General has been in the news for the past few months for what some say are calculated attacks by some influential persons for his unwavering fight against public sector corruption. Indeed, let's see the pictures, I beg. You remember Executive Director at the Center for Democratic Development, H. Kwesi Prempeh, saying there's a strong perception that Daniel Domalovo's anti-craft stance was being stampeded by some government officials. So if the priests are praying for him, well, I guess we all have a duty to join you and say a prayer for him as well. Yeah. So we pray for you and stand with you, Auditor General Mr. Daniel Domalovo. This is beautiful. Okay, that's it for the headlines. But before we go, we want to remind you and ask you, did you know that Sub-Saharan Africa has the worst health on average in the world? Well, although the region has 11% of the world's population, it carries a disappointing 25% of the global disease burden. Join the Multimedia Group and the Commonwealth to discuss how we can change this narrative at the Commonwealth Speaker Series. What are the problems, challenges, and solutions to Africa's healthcare provision and system? The venue, the British Council. Accra. Date is the 26th of November at 5 p.m. Health partner is Luca Health Medical Specialty Center. Media partner, of course, is the Multimedia Group. Supporters are Premier Health Insurance and York's Rent a Car. Send health questions for the Speaker Series at Joy997FM on Twitter and at the RCS Africa. Stay with us. We'll bring you sports. It will be highlights of what to expect over the weekend as the Premier League returns. Is that it, Rola? Premier League is back?
Yeah, it's back.
Benedict is up next.